Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Jersey Rail Productions with another video. Today we're in New Hope, Pennsylvania at the New Hope Tourist Railroad. Here we can see the classic GP30 locomotive number 2198 pulling out of the station. Let's let the train go by and get into the details after. Okay, so here we could see number 2198 return to the station safe and sound after ending its excursion. It was built by Locomotive Division in May 1963 for the Pennsylvania Railroad, and it originally carried the number 2250, wearing the Pennsylvania Railroad's iconic Brunswick green paint scheme. The GP30 itself was part of EMD's early second-generation diesel lineup, producing 2,250 horsepower and easily recognizable by its distinctive raised hump behind the cab, a design that made it stand out from earlier locomotives. Behind it, we can take a quick look at the different types of cars in the consist, as well as a backup consist for different types of excursion services as well. Making our way down to the north side of the station and yard, we can see some engines sitting idle, as well as the single bay engine shed where the crews do the maintenance and restoration work. Here we can see some of the ongoing projects for the restoration crew, as well as some maintenance away vehicles. Here we can get an up-close look at the maintenance away critters that the New Hope Railroad utilizes to keep their track in tip-top condition. These critters might be small, but are crucial machines that keep the railroad functioning behind the scenes. These include track inspection carts, ballast regulators, and small utility vehicles used to ensure that the rails are safe and aligned. Here's what seems to be an old private car from Southern Pacific with the City of Angels decal on it. This passenger car, number 867, was built by Harlan and Hollingsworth Company of Wilmington, Delaware, one of the early pioneers in American railcar manufacturing. Unlike earlier wooden coaches, this car represents the transition into heavier, more durable steel construction in the early 1900s, often called the heavyweight era of passenger railroading. This passenger car carries the name Mid-America and Golden Sea, which suggests it has been privately named or repurposed later in its life rather than operating under a major railroad's official service name. Cars like this were often originally built as standard passenger coaches or lounge cars for large railroads, and later sold off after the end of the private passenger service in the Amtrak era beginning in 1971. Speaking of Amtrak, this is car number 121, named Pacific Cape. It was originally built in 1950 by the Budd Company as a stainless steel sleeping car for Union Pacific service. Like many cars from that era, it began its life on long-distance overnight trains designed with roomettes and sleeper accommodations for cross-country travel. As we finally make our way to the end of the deadline, or the storage track, we can see two gigantic rotting pieces of metal in the back, remnants of what used to be hard-working locomotives. Starting with the first in line is this historical ex-Canadian National 7210, part of CN's GP9RM rebuild program under the GY-418A classification. Built in the late 1950s as a GP9 road switcher by EMD, it began its life in the era when diesel power was fully taking over from steam, working freight assignments across Canadian National system and becoming one of the most common and reliable locomotives of its time. In the 1980s, it was rebuilt into a GP9RM. Its final years of service came in short line operation under Pennsylvania Northeastern ownership, hence why you could see the PN patches on the side. This is where it continued to carry the 7210 number once again until it reaches the end of the line when it was taken out of active service. Now it sits here in the dead line. Faded paint, rust forming, and silence. A deafening silence where there used to be the sound of an engine hard at work. It's a reminder that even the hardest working machines eventually have to reach the end of the line. Just beyond the Canadian National Locomotive sits something even more mysterious, a heavily decayed steam engine, partially hidden and long since forgotten. Its exact identity isn't clearly marked, and much of its history has been lost to time. What remains is its massive steel frame, now sitting still where it once would have powered through rail lines during the steam era. Behind it are two separate tenders, both in different states of decay. These tenders likely once carried coal and water for steam operations, supporting long-distance runs where refueling points were far apart. Without clear builder plates or legible markings, the origins of this consist remain uncertain. It now rests here as a fragmented piece of rail history, waiting for someone to recognize its story and bring it back to its former glory. Seeing these two trains sitting at the back of a dead line slowly rotting away still somehow gives me a glimmer of hope. As long as they're still here, there's always that one chance in the future they could be brought back to life, fully restored and running once again on the main line. Two old giants of a different era, just waiting for someone to give them another chance.